Hi there folks, Matt Hayson with this week's Market Wrap, and joining me today is Pancho again, and we're going to be talking about some things which are happening in the market at the moment, and this is going to be our second last report for the year. And I know a few people are probably getting a little bit fatigued about the property market at the moment, but it's really what's happening in these next few weeks, which is actually very important about how you kind of go into the property cycle into 2018. So I know, Pancho, you've got some interesting questions that you're interested about.
Yeah, I think the folks on the other side of the camera are interested about the state of the market at the present moment. Sure. What are your views on the state of the market?
Sure. Look, I guess to sum it up, I feel as though the property market from a seller's perspective is probably limping towards the finish line this year. We've seen the market over the last quarter probably transition away from being a heated seller's market to now it's certainly more in the favour of the buyer's market. Mm-hmm. I know last Saturday the auction clearance rate came through at 65% as reported by Domain. However, in the core markets that we're servicing, it's sitting more around 55%. So whenever you're seeing that, it's certainly in favour of buyers.
Okay. So would you say it's a good time to buy?
Absolutely. And we've spoken about this. I think whenever you're in an environment, in any, whether or not remove property from the equation, whether or not it's buying a car or anything like that, whenever you've got a market where the sellers are willing to meet where the buyer demand is, I think it's a good environment to purchase, and that's what we've got right now. You've got sellers that are motivated. There's only a short period before Christmas. They're willing to listen to offers. There's great supply available. So yeah, absolutely. I think this is a great time to buy.
Okay. So on the other side, is a good time to sell?
Actually, it is a pretty good time to be selling as well. I mean, that window to put your house on the market now is pretty much closed for 2017, so I think you'll see the market pick up somewhere through mid to late January. But if you are a seller at the moment, and this is the hardest thing I think some people, when they're looking at getting a price which might be below expectation, the thing is you're going to have a win when you go to buy. And that's what we're seeing in the market at the present time, is everybody that has their home on the market right now has an intent to sell because they're looking to either buy, upgrade, downsize, move sideways, whatever it might be. So
I think a lot of people forget that.
Yeah, indeed.
Because they look at that scenario, but not the other scenario, which is, hey, I can also buy something as well.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. What do you see for, say, 2018? Let's keep it really quite short. For the next quarter, what are you seeing with the values of the property? Yeah,
look, that's always a tricky question. I'd like to think that we'll see some level of resurgence in terms of a little bit of enthusiasm in the new year. I mean, it always happens. People have New Year's resolutions. They have a deep breath. I think at the moment what we're talking about, there's some fatigue in the market. That should dissipate, and I think you'll see renewed energy going into January and February next year. And that in itself should bring some enthusiasm and maybe a little bit of a spike in terms of property prices. But I suspect it could be short-lived. I suspect that we're not going to see anything significant moving into the first quarter. When we're speaking with mortgage brokers or banking, the sector, at the moment, they're still saying to us that lending and that financial criteria in terms of people obtaining mortgages is extremely tight, and they don't see that changing anytime soon.
Okay, so we've had a lot of growth in the last 3 to 5 years. What do you see the growth in the property market in the next year, next 2 years? What are your views?
Yeah, look, next year I feel we'll have another year of stability, and it just seems that way. Whilst we're dealing in the lending environment that we are, which is presenting challenges for people that even have high incomes and they've got investment properties and a decent high net worth, they're even finding it challenging to go and get that extra money from a lending criteria. So whilst that environment remains in play, I can't see we're going to see any significant growth in terms of property prices. And also we've seen at least 3 years of incredible growth through these areas, 70, 80% growth. So it's been quite remarkable, and really when you look back at it, it's been the highest growth rate in Sydney's history. So I think it probably will be a year of sustained some growth, but would be very modest.
So you're saying that it's pretty much predicated on lending.
Look, it's a huge factor, and look, you can really pinpoint it when the lending criteria, when the APRA came out and tightened up the lending policy earlier and really kind of put the acid test on it around Easter. We saw a steady decline in terms of the urgency of buyers, their ability to act. The auction clearance rate started to decline, and you can absolutely pinpoint that to when that lending policy really tightened up.
All right. Well, I think we have a great deal of insight from you for the next 3 to 4 weeks before Christmas comes along. I think the folks, if they need to find out some more information, you've got the phone numbers, you've got what's the best phone number for this place?
Look, I think the big thing at the moment for us is we've got a lot of agents right now. We're just clearing up and finishing off selling the remaining properties that are available for the end of 2017. So you've actually got a good time now to grab a hold of a really high caliber agent. If you are thinking of selling or buying or want to get your criteria set for next year, now's the absolute opportune time to speak to an agent and get some insight.
Why not give the guys over here a chance to actually have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you, everyone, and thank you, Matt, and we look forward to seeing you next year.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys out and about. Thanks very much. Bye.